Ladies and gentlemen, may I request everyone to please join me in extending a very warm welcome to our esteemed guest of honor. We have Shri Ashok Chandra Panda, Honorable Minister, Tourism and Odia Language, Literature and Culture, Government of Odisha, to this session. A very warm welcome to you, Honorable Minister. May we also warmly welcome Shri Satyajit Rajan, Director General, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, with us for the session. We have with us Shri Suresh Chandra Mahapatra, Additional Chief Secretary, Department of Forests and Environments from the Government of Odisha. We also warmly welcome Shri Vishal Dev, Commissioner, Secretary, Department of Tourism, Government of Odisha. We have with us Srimati Archana Patnaik, Director and Special Secretary, Department of Tourism, Government of Odisha. Ladies and gentlemen, they say that the world is a book, and for those who do not travel, read only a page. Well, for a state that has absolutely endless and intriguing possibilities of tourism, I would say that a lifetime is only too short to explore and experience this epic. Whether it is its majestic coastline, virgin beaches, dense forests teeming with wildlife, flora and fauna, the historic temples and the ancient architectural marvels, or the breathtaking mountains and waterfalls, Odisha has it all. Tourism is of course one of the 6 focus sectors of the state, and this session especially will highlight the potential of the sector in the state, especially to the investors community. Respective speakers will deliberate on the investment opportunities as well as unique advantages offered by the state of Odisha, the soul of incredible India. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, and without any further ado, I would like to now invite Ms. Gurmeet Sachdev, who is the Publishing Director of Hotel Air India, and may I please invite her to kindly make the opening address.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you all on behalf of the Government of Odisha and ITP Media Group to the biannual Make in Odisha 2018. Tourism is one of the 6 focus sectors for the government here, and they are working actively on establishing major tourism hubs in the state as integrated hospitality destinations for tourists across the globe, and also to cater to the rising needs of business travelers to the state. Last year, Odisha recorded footfall of foreign tourists, especially from the Southeast Asia, thanks to the air connectivity, which has helped increase the number of tourists in the state, thus delivering outstanding opportunities for business growth and developing the state and its people. Tourist destinations are amalgamation of products, services and experiences with many different stakeholders involved in it. Today's conclave is a step in that direction. In order to achieve a more sustainable development, involvement of all stakeholders in every state is critical. From policy making to project implementation, it requires constant dialogues through various platforms. Co-creating industry-focused platforms such as this is the tradition of ITP Group, and we are delighted to have continued with it successfully. We have put together a great session today with some of the best minds in the Indian hospitality industry and tourism sector to share knowledge and generate new ideas on driving credible returns on hospitality and unlocking the true potential of a business. The learning of this platform will be taken to a larger audience through our print and online platforms. I wish everyone a very, very fruitful day today. I thank all our panelists to making the time out and coming to this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sachdev, for your warm opening address and also for setting the context for this session. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to present a short video on Odisha tourism and the variety the state has to offer. Can we have the video, please? this presentation highlighting the investment opportunities in the tourism sector in the state.
Very good afternoon to everyone. Honorable Minister of Tourism, Director General Tourism, Government of India, Additional Chief Secretary Forestry and Environment, my colleague Archana Patnaik. We have very distinguished people in our midst today who have been invited as panelists in the two panels. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have all of you here, and my heart gladdens when I see a full house. Odisha, we have now named it as India's best kept secret, because I don't come from the state, and whenever I've been out, people say that we don't know much about Odisha. But when they come here, invariably 8 out of 10 cases say that they've fallen in love with the place. So we will be releasing a new logo which says Odisha, India's best kept secret. I'll run you through a very brief presentation, some of which I think was covered in the video. What's important here is that we have one of the longest coastlines in the country, of about 480 square kilometers, which of course gives rise to beach tourism. And we have a forest cover of about 34%. What is unique is that this forest cover is actually growing, unlike many other states where the forest cover is dwindling. This is a part of the Make in Odisha. I'm sure many of you have attended the inaugural session yesterday and the plenary session today, wherein you would have come to know about what's happening in Odisha. Suffice to say that when it comes to investment promotion, we've been among the forefront and among the top 3 states as far as attracting investments is concerned, and this has been so continuously since 2006. Every year we figure among the top 3 or top 4 states for inviting investments in manufacturing, services sector. Honorable Chief Minister has also got the award for Best Administrator from Economic Times, from Outlook, from various other forums. We considered a leader as far as introducing business reforms is concerned. And many of you may not know, but of course we are a mineral powerhouse, so 25% of the coal of the country, 33% of the iron ore, about 55% of our bauxite, more than 90% of the nickel and chrome of the country is found in Odisha. And we are therefore a natural choice for steel, aluminium and power. And you'll be happy to know that 20% of the steel and 54% of the aluminium of the country is made in this state. The city that you are in happens to be the second planned city in the country after Chandigarh. And I must take a minute to say that while I'm talking of industrial development, we've actually followed a very comprehensive and a very holistic development process. We've not neglected our rural development. So when it comes to rural housing, when it comes to rural roads, when it comes to education, we are again in the top 2 states in the country. When it comes to poverty alleviation, between 2006 and 2011, we reduced our poverty by the maximum percentage points of 26, highest among any state in the country. So the point that I'm wanting to make is that yes, industrial development is happening, per capita income of people is going up parallelly. A lot is being done to reduce poverty, a lot is being done about rural development, about getting people more jobs, etc. In 2016, we came out with a very proactive tourism policy, which I am told provides perhaps the best incentives to the tourism sector, to tourism projects, whether it is hotels or amusement parks, themes, etc. The vision of the policy is to develop Odisha as a supreme tourist destination and to place it prominently on the domestic and global tourism map. Very recently, we've got connectivity to international destinations like Kuala Lumpur and Bangkok. Bangkok Air India was operating, but they discontinued for a little while, and we'll very shortly have that restored along with another flight of Air Asia connecting Bangkok. I understand that another airline is also keen on introducing another connectivity to Dubai. So I think as far as international connectivity goes, we'll be very well placed. Two on the east and one on the west. At least that gives us global connectivity. All of this I have already seen in the video. Bhubaneswar is a unique city. I just mentioned that it's a second planned city in the country after Chandigarh. It also happens to be one of the most ancient cities of the country. It has a history which dates back to 3000 years. And the Great War of Kalinga, where Emperor Ashoka laid down arms and embraced Buddhism, happened at Dholi, which is about 7 kilometers from here. And many of you who have read Mahabharata would have heard of Shishupalgarh. Shishupalgarh happens to be about 15 kilometers from here. So a history of 3000 years, the second planned city in the country, brilliant, I think, fusion of modernity and ancient civilization. We have a very well-preserved Buddhist circuit also, which unfortunately many tourists and visitors are not aware of. We are now starting to promote it. Dhaulagiri is the place where Emperor Ashoka laid down his arms. We've got Lalitgiri, Udayagiri and Ratnagiri. We also have an international Buddhist conclave, and we have the Lord Buddha's relic at Lalitgiri. So this is another circuit which we'll be promoting aggressively. Nandankanan Zoo happens to be one of the finest zoos in the country, and the white tiger, one of the very few zoos, perhaps only one of the two which has white tigers. Olive Ridley turtles you mentioned, you saw in the video. So just to inform that there are 3 places in the world which see this phenomenon where millions of olive ridley turtles swim to come and lay eggs. And if you happen to visit Gahir Mata and Rishikulya, you have to be careful about your next step because you're surrounded all around by olive ridley turtles. It's a rare and a beautiful sight. Ecotourism, my colleague, Additional Chief Secretary, Forest and Environment will touch upon, but that's an area where we are looking, a lot is happening, a lot of development is happening, many new sites are being developed. Odisha is also very rich in arts, crafts and culture. So you would have heard of Odissi dance, but apart from that, we've got Goti Pua, we've got Chau, we've got Sambalpuri, a number of beautiful dances. We've got the Pipli art form. Odia textiles are famous all over the world. Odia paintings, silver filigree work, pattachitras, all of these are very famous. And we also have about 23% of our population coming from the tribal sections of society. So they bring their own culture and make Odia culture very rich. So ethnic tourism is again an area which is coming up very well, and we get regular groups from abroad who visit the tribal areas in our state. Cuisines, you can see something, but from my personal experience I can tell you that Odia food is very healthy. Of late everyone is, kind of avoids oil or heavy food, but Odia food, the way it is prepared, it's very healthy. They use very little oil and some of them are outstandingly delicious. I mentioned about the performing arts. We have some signature events in the state to promote tourism in the state. We've got International Sand Art Festival, which happens alongside the Konark Dance Festival, wherein artists from all over the world come and perform sand art. Konark Festival today is rated as a #1 cultural festival in the country, higher than the one that we have in Khajuraho. I mentioned to you about the tourism policy which we brought out in 2016, a very proactive policy offering excellent incentives to all investors in the hospitality and tourism sector. Sports tourism is another area which has come up over the last 2 years in a big way. And we are the proud hosts of the Hockey World Cup this year, starting with the 28th of November, going on till 16th of December. So we took up a promotion campaign across the world in Amsterdam, Munich, London, Sydney and Kuala Lumpur, which are hubs for hockey. and this is the branding that was carried. So this is one of the London buses. We had similar campaigns in the cities which I mentioned. It was received very well by the people and we got rave reviews about it. Let me now come to the investment opportunities which I want to present very briefly. We have a number of projects lined up for investors, primarily around Chilka, Konark and Puri. Again, which are all these places are tourist hubs. Chilka happens to be the largest brackish water lake in Asia. The first project is near Gopalpur, which is again a beach town, and it has a Mayfair property there, Gopalpur on sea. The total land available is about 45 acres, a part of which is already under development under the Swadesh Darshan program of the Government of India. There are 2 patches which are available for an eco resort, wellness resort, as well as 3 and 4 star hotels. So we will in any case be sending you emails about all these projects, and we look forward to having further discussions with you. The other project is at Tampara Lake in Ganjam district. Again, a very beautiful and a very serene lake. Land of about 7 acres is available. You can do a wellness ecotourism project there. We have some investment figures on the basis of average per room investment, but we would be happy to facilitate a visit for all of you, for whoever wants to visit this. The third project is at a place which is about 250 kilometers from here, in Balasore district. It joins Diga in West Bengal, a beautiful beach town called Talsari. And it is famous for red crabs. It's a very rare variety which is seen on the beach. We have many other projects lined up near Khurda. We have about 32 acres for an amusement park, and this is something which I think one of the investors we will be having detailed discussions with. We have a hill station called Daringbadi. There are investment opportunities there. Konark, again, we are in the process of creating a land bank, but we have identified a 6-acre site which we will be happy to offer to developers. This is within walking distance of the Konark temple. We have several other wayside amenities projects. We have many of our own tourism department properties which we would like to offer on a PPP basis, on leasehold basis again to investors. We will be coming up with a separate advertisement inviting investors to consider investment. So primarily this is what I want to say, a very brief presentation just to give you an idea about what is happening. Odisha, to sum up, offers you a brilliant platter of activities or tourism areas which to my mind very few states can do, from beach tourism to ethnic tourism to culture to wildlife to ecotourism. We have it all, and I would urge all the investors to do consider investing in Odisha, and we shall be happy to get on a one-on-one discussion with you. Thank you so much. And before I end, a very warm welcome to everyone to come during the Hockey World Cup. We have the opening ceremony on the 27th, and 28th November onwards the matches start. So please do let us know. It will be a pleasure to host you.
Thank you, Shaldev, for that absolutely wonderful presentation and giving us an in-depth insight into the very possibilities that the state has to offer in terms of tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very pleased to have amongst us the Satyajit Rajan, Director General Tourism, Government of India, with us today. May I request him to kindly share his thoughts with us.
Thanks, Vishal, for a wonderful presentation. Honorable Minister, dignitaries in the dais, very renowned panelists from the major stakeholder communities of the tourism sector, and those who are going to be the future stakeholders or already the stakeholders. Orissa has arrived is what we have learned. The industrial growth always precedes growth in other sector, agriculture before. And around 10 years ago, I used to wonder, I used to ask one officer, batchmate of Mahapatra sir sitting here, who went from Orissa to Kerala. I am also from Kerala Kata. So I used to ask him, what is it that differentiates Orissa from the typical cow belt? Why is it that Orissa is coming forward whereas states like Bihar, UP, Chhattisgarh, even Rajasthan are struggling? And his only answer was that probably, the 18 years constant rule of one man is the leadership which is preventing, which is making this happen. So first of all, I would very rightfully acknowledge the great leadership of Orissa, which is making things happen here in Orissa. 3 reasons why it is happening in Orissa, why tourism, which has not really taken off in the past, despite having a number of assets, whether you call it the rural tourism or the eco-tourism, or you call it the temple tourism, one of the best architectures, the temple architectures in the world, the mountains, Mahanadi, if you look at Mahanadi, the different streams of Mahanadi which go and meet the sea, you go to any 2 streams, the entire area between the 2 streams is actually a tourist area. The entire area can be developed into a tourist area. But it has not happened. It has not really happened. Not only that, we launched Adopt a Heritage scheme a year ago, and there were interests from some state level entrepreneurs to adopt Konark temple. Now, Adopt a Heritage scheme is all about people who have surplus money, in the sense they can put some money in CSR. They are not blaming the government like, look, you have not done this, you have not done that. Okay, if we are not able to do it, why don't you come and do it yourself? So some of the assets have, some of the monuments and some of the natural resorts have gone to the private hands for management. Konark also was right in the very first, in the October last year. Konark also should have gone, but it has not happened so far. There is somebody who is taking interest but is not going beyond a point. So first of all, I use this opportunity to tell those who already have investments here and interests here in the tourism of Orissa, and most importantly, Dilip Ray sir and his entire investment he has done all over the country. For him, adopting Konark is just the ideal time after the huge interpretation center, the beautiful interpretation center which has come up in Konark. If anybody right here has not seen that interpretation Transportation Center. Please go and see. That is one of the best in the country. And that has come because of the initiative of the Petroleum Minister, because he has virtually requested and cajoled and IOC to put money into that particular Gunar. So right now, you have everything in place. What is not in place? Management. And we are ASI, the government, we are not good managers. So please come forward and take up the management of Gunar. Coming back, I would like to tell you that Odisha is really taking the right steps at a time. Tourism in India is growing at unprecedented scales. The post Incredible India campaign in 2005 or 2004, which I consider was not the right time to launch the campaign, because India was really not incredible at that point of time. We had very bad roads, we had atrocious connectivity, but things have changed right now. Things have changed because you have connectivity here. Even a place like Odisha, India is growing at 15%. Odisha will grow, international tourists will come. The international connectivity is what is already happened, it will happen more and more. So Odisha, the major problem was the connectivity, and that because of the Uran scheme and many other initiatives of Government of India, I think connectivity is improved, will further improve. The second reason what I feel is, why is it that the Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Index, 4 years ago we were 65th position, but right now we are at 40th position. So small things are happening here and there. I was looking at how the competitiveness index is made, and I found out a number of places where we further can improve, and we are trying to improve. And you take it from me, in another 4 years, our competitiveness index, India will jump up from what 40 right now to around 20th, at least to the 20th position. So this is a very positive thing which I look for the tourism sector. And the most important thing which has just come up, because see, whatever small things come, the perception, international perception is the most important thing. Most recently, India has been placed at 3rd position in the World Travel and Tourism Council Power and Performance Report 2018, after China and USA, in the power ranking category. The report has evaluated the performance of 185 countries over a 7 years period across 4 main indicators, that is total contribution to GDP, international visitors spends, domestic spending and capital investment, and the other things. So overall, if you see in all these are signs that, tourism sector which really did not matter till the 1990-2000, at least for government it did not matter. Not that for the government it matters now, because despite all the things what we are saying, we happen to be one of the highest tax rates in our entire Asia. If you look at Asia, I'm forgetting about Europe and other. Our tax rates are 18% plus as against the tax rates 8%, 9%, China, Thailand and Malaysia, all these places. So still, the government, somewhere we have a feeling that tourism sector will come. Whatever we may do, there are entrepreneurs who are sitting right in front of us. They will make the tourism happen. And actually, you are the ones who are making tourism happening, despite the fact that we are not giving the kind of support which the tourism industry has got elsewhere. For example, in Thailand, just like we introduced e-visa, we are very proud of the fact that we introduced e-visa, 165 countries e-visa. Everything is fine. Suddenly Thailand announces visa on arrival, they make it free of cost. No, they are the countries which are competing to us. If the Russians don't come to Goa, they will go to Thailand. So the moment you try to take one step, they will take another step. So we are in the middle of very, very competing kind of a environment that we in the government have to understand and give support to tourism, which is much more than what we have been giving. And as the importance of tourism surfaces on the minds of the policy makers, more and more support will come. The employment is a major issue in India today, and there is a broad consensus that the largest employer, that is the tourism sector, should be given support. So I am quite sure that the GST, when the GST picks up, right now the GST overall, GST has not happened, collections have not happened the way government wanted. The moment they pick up, I am quite sure our tax rates will come down. We have made certain investments in Odisha, but not much. Not too many projects have not come from the state government. I will take this opportunity to request Honorable Minister to send some more projects, and the projects which are there. Under Sudesh we have one, and under Prasad we have one. If these two projects can be finished quickly, and you can ask for more funds, it will be great. Odisha government had not involved that much with our ITM, the first ever ITM in Delhi this year in September. Did Odisha government come and make its presence felt there? You will come there, so then I have disturbed. Because I have gone around, I thought Odisha was not there, but if you're there, it's really good. So this is going to be a regular feature. The India Travel Mart is what the name we have given. This was the first India Travel Mart, and I would request those who are present there, if you have any suggestions how to improve the India Travel Mart. Next year, most likely in the same month, we'll have it. That is what we had announced. I will conclude my talk with the great Mangal Jodi experiment which in Chilka has taken place. The Additional Chief Secretary Forest will talk about it. They got an international award also. There are only 4 projects in India which have got an international award. The top level awards. It all started with in Kerala. I'm forgetting the name. Not like that. The Kumaragam area, the first responsible tourism. The second was the Chilka, the Mangal Jodi. Then we have one also in Kaziranga, and the 4th is in Leh. Now, the Leh award I would like to particularly share with you, because it has those who are interested in responsible tourism. It's a young entrepreneur who comes back after 10 days in Kharagwasla, NDA, and says, I want to set up something on my own, and becomes a responsible tourism entrepreneur. In Leh, this young boy has reached electricity to 86 villages. Now, what is the model? The model is crowdfunding from the tourists who are coming and visiting that place. So they go back, they say, okay, this is the place where we have gone, we have visited. We have commitment to that place, we will put in money. With that money, this young boy has put in. Why I am telling this story to all of you? This story can be replicated. The ecotourism potential of Odisha is such that it can attract one of the best, the most spending tourists from all over the world. People who have lots of money to spend. It has that kind of potential. So once you have them coming to your ecotourism camps, you will completely change the life of all those people living in those localities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shri Rajan, for your kind address. And you rightly said that industrial growth spurs growth in other sectors, and in that regard, tourism is no different. However, the potential still needs to be tapped, and in this regard, you shared a few noteworthy suggestions in carrying this forward. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite our next speaker, have with us Honorable Minister for Tourism, Committee for Shri Ashok Panda with us, and request Honorable Minister to kindly address us on this occasion.
Good afternoon, everybody. Me on the DG Mr. Satyajit Rajan ji, National Chief Secretary, Mr. Suresh Mahapatra, Secretary, Department of Tourism, Sri Vishal Dai, Director of Tourism, Madam Vatsala Patnaik, all stakeholders who are related with the tourism department, friends of media, and my colleague, ex-minister and present MLA, Mr. Pavit Chandra Bandoy. I, at the outset, I am thankful to you that you have attended in large number your presence. 2 years back, I also addressed the same tourism pamphlet here, but I see the number is more this year. I won't repeat what Mr. Vishal Dev, Secretary Tourism, presented in the PowerPoint presentation here. I will just mention few points. DG Tourism, Mr. Satyajit Rajan, mentioned about the 18 years of administration of Mr. Naveen Patnaik ji, or beloved Chief Minister, who has a name in the entire country as best administrator and lovable persons, transparent, honest, and integrity above suspicion. All those has been one of the factors, and his liking for the art and culture, tourism, has in fact the guiding force for us in the tourism department. And in 2013, we adopted a policy. Again in 2016, we changed it to accommodate new developments. And 2016 policy indeed very attractive, and new sectors have been incorporated in the policy which are not there in 2013, whether it is land bank or it is the adventure sports or connectivity, many other things. And taking advantage of the policy, we have received many offers. Even the holding of 3 major programs. One is Golden Jubilee of Federation of Indian Hotel and Restaurant Association, FHRIs in Bhubaneswar, IATO conference recently, and also Odisha Travel Bazaar in association with Fiki. Recently we had the second edition here. These three events somehow supplemented the potentials, exploring the potentials of the Odisha tourism, and you will be happy to note that the footfalls, tourist footfalls, both in domestic sector and international tourists have gone up. That is one of the reasons which these events have directly, indirectly have supplemented. Not only that, also value additions in certain tourism sectors, whether it is light and sound program at Gaudi, light and sound program at Kodara, which have been very magnificent, real attractive. These have also added to the footfalls. Years back, we have an airport called Biju Patnaik International Airport. Such a tall man, legendary Biju Patnaik, who had close links with the aviation industries. Somehow, this airport didn't have a single international connectivity, though the airport is named after him. Odisha government came forward. I must tell Mr. Satyajit Rajan, despite several letters to the Government of India, he then Minister Y. Samaji and his successor also, I met several times at Delhi. Somehow I have not been successful having a direct flight to either to Dubai or to Kuala Lumpur or to Bangalore. Air Asia came forward and Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik nodded the proposal for the subsidizing the Air Asia to undertake the journey to the Kuala Lumpur, now the Bangalore. And I hope in future, I request all these airlines at least open some channel to the Dubai. That will also add to the air connectivity. And other things, I would definitely draw the attention of DG Tourism and also the Union Minister. In the past also I have drawn their attention that we have lot of Buddhist remnants here. The Ratnagiri, Laltagiri, Udayagiri, which Mr. Visaldev, Tourism Secretary, presented in the PowerPoint presentation. Beautiful, it's the diamond triangle. Lot of Buddhist remnants in the state. Just to include it in the Surya Darshan scheme, we also required several times. Send the DPRs, but unfortunately we have been not working. We also send the DPR to for the religious circuit that is also in Surya Darshan. Send the DPR, unfortunately it has not been. And only we have been lucky in getting the coastal circuit around 80 crores. I am thankful to the Government of India for that. But I definitely request Mr. Satyajit Rajan to do the, at least use his good office, at least include this Buddhist circuit in the Surya Darshan scheme and the incorporate light and sound program in Khandagiri, which ITDC is the executing agency. Not only that, lot of destination. During my 4.5 years tenure, we have added the number of destinations to total to 357, and roughly 350 crores we have invested in updating the tourist infrastructure around the state. Whether it is Chowcity, Yogini Coast, whether it is Balangir, Puja-Dungiri, Bindungiri, Sabaleshwari in West, or the Vedavyas in Raukela, or Koraput tribal places, and Kalahandi. We also given the equal emphasis to the coastal side, whether it is Baleshwar, Puri and others. And now we have, with the help of Forest Department in joint collaboration, last year we have started the Bard Festival in Chilka with Mr. DG will be mentioning about that. And similarly, we are also joined hands with the sports department, and coincidentally, Mr. Vishaldev is also sports secretary. So, athletic events, Asian athletic events, as well as the Men's World Cup hockey, we have been a partner. And I always consider at least to update the religious places, providing basic facilities, whether it is drinking water facilities, whether it is the connectivity, like that, and also many other things, electricity, so that the footpaths will go up. And we are also done many things in Puri, two big interpretation centers coming up, one at Jagannath Ballam Fort in Puri, and also one near Linganath Temple in Bhubaneswar. And with the help of the funding from the tourism department, I am also appreciate the interpretation center done by Government of India at Konarak. Konarak is our common heritage, UNESCO World Heritage Site. And
Hotels, Ms. Anshu Sareen, CEO of Berggren Hotels, Mr. Dinesh Chadha, Vice President of Business Development from the Indian Hotels Company Limited, and Mr. Nikhil Sani, Group President, Yes Bank Limited. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, may I request our session moderator, Mr. Prashant Guru, to make his opening address and moderate the session.
Thank you very much. Government of Orissa and Hotel India got in touch with me a few days ago to run a panel on secrets in Orissa, India's best kept secret, which is the second panel. And as I landed off my flight today, I heard that I'll be moderating the first panel as well. So those who want to invest in Orissa, the message is loud and clear, you get 2x later. So I think we had a great opening session by our missionary from the state, elected leaders, and the bureaucrats and officers who run the state. In private parties involved have been telling me some very good things, that all the parts of the state machinery are working in tandem with each other. So it's a great atmosphere for us to be talking about this. Unfortunately, we are half an hour behind, so we'll try and squeeze 15 minutes out of each of the panels. I'll go straight to my first question, let's not waste any more time. And my first question is, what are the positives you see in the Indian hotel sector for the next 5 years? And fresh off a very successful and admired IPO, I think that question can go to Mr. Ratan Keswar.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Government of Orissa, for inviting all of us here. The positives, I think, are there for everybody to see, which is that just the general large population that we've got, who have a ever-growing per capita earning, and therefore the desire to travel. If you chase travel and spending all over the world, there are thresholds of a GDP spend or an earning, at which point the discretionary income starts to flow through towards either healthcare or travel. And that's exactly what we're seeing in India for the last 5 years. And with the infrastructure that Mr. Vishaldev also mentioned before, improving it just facilitates the whole part, whether the airlines or whether the roads or whether the transport piece. So I see a great future for most destinations in India. And secondly, every time that everybody's been everywhere that we can think of, there is a new destination that comes by, which is where this best held secret should really be successful in the next decade to come.
Same question to Jnana. You come from one of the first companies to formally, in a standardized manner, own assets and develop assets in India. What's the next 5 years telling you?
As I think I'll confirm that 5 years are always positive. I think not even 5 years, we always believed in this industry, and when we started SAMI back in 2010 and 11, the world said that, oh, it is the worst time to sell. But we always believed in the trend line. I think Ratan would also confirm that this was the time that we always looked at that the fundamentals of the industry was always strong. There was timely issues, there were short-term issues because of the supply, the pace effect and everything that we can go on and talk about. But the fundamentals of India, the fundamentals of hospitality, the fundamentals of tourism has always been there in India forever. And I don't think so it is going in next 5 years or so, it is going to be even for multiples of 5 years to come. So we are bullish about it. We will keep investing in India. I think we are in investment mode. We will keep investing in the country for not 5 years, another decade and a half. We'll get into
Asim, I had the good fortune of speaking to your CEO in the last week, sir, and he told me bigger is not essentially better. And sometimes the focus should be on better rather than bigger. So from the higher perspective of an international hotel chain, 5 years, what's your view?
So I believe in the last 2 years we've seen a very good growth, both in terms of the average rates are going up, occupancies are coming back in. So I think it's pretty positive. So the signs are all so that there seems to be that upswing that is there, and I think that momentum is going to continue over the next 5 years. A lot of domestic tourism that will definitely sort of really take us forward. There's with that income that we have, the disposable income, middle class, the upper middle class is traveling a lot more. They want to experience a lot more. So I believe that occupancies and the average rates and generally the industry will grow over the next 5 years for sure. It's very positive.
Anshu, you work in a very meaty part of the market. I'm told that between 1800 and 3000, the demand is infinite. Is that more of the same for the next 5 years, or do you have a different perspective?
Absolutely. I think the demand for the mid-market hotels is growing faster than for many other categories of hotels. I wouldn't peg it to 1800 or 3000 for just the benefit of all of us. But fundamentally, the demand for the mid-market segment is a lot stronger. It's fueled by the fact that there is the aspirational Indian. He's traveling a lot more. The desire for experiences is a lot more. So tourism is definitely moving. Coupled with the fact that there's a relatively stronger economy, so the business travel is also there. I think putting all of these metrics together and the kind of products that we have in the market, I think we're looking at really strong 5 years to come.
So we have here Nikhil Sani from Yes Bank. All the hoteliers on the panel are saying it's going to be a great 5 years. But the one thing that we all know is there's hardly any credit available to build this. The interest rates are through the roof. What's going to happen on the banking side? Is there going to be more of the same, or do you see structured products? Do you see infrastructure status kicking in to create more friendly lending terms? What should we expect? Can these hoteliers on the panel, do you think, be empowered to build and create these products over the next 5 years?
Most definitely, Prashant. I think there has been long-standing demand from both a financer's perspective, because I want more business, and from the hotelier's perspective to grant infrastructure status to projects that Anshu was mentioning about. You today have infrastructure status, honorable DG Tourism, only for projects which are 200 crores and above. Now tell me, can you do a 200 crore project at all in all of Orissa? The answer is potentially no. Mr. Mahapatra is here. He will confirm this to you. Interestingly, I was looking at the presentation made by Vishal Devji, and clearly all projects in the 50 crore category, pretty good financing, we don't give infrastructure status. Then we have blunt, Prashant, banks will always be interested in running projects which have some sort of cash flows available. I am taking your money and lending it to, I'm taking your money literally and lending it to corporates. I have to be reasonably sure that the money will come back, otherwise I would not be able to pay you your FD or savings interest due. So to that extent, I think a significant policy intervention, and this is a long-standing demand, that projects which are 50 crores in size need to be given infrastructure status so that they have far more time to pay. I don't think interest cost is the issue. I don't think funding is the issue. If today through crowdfunding and P2P, people can get money sitting in their homes on a mobile phone without having to sign even a single document, why will people not invest in hotels when the entire numbers, the entire setup is so fantastic in India? Tourism, with all due respect, is growing because Indians are aspirational and it is happening on its own. Potentially there are interventions on the infrastructure side, but give me more infrastructure status, I think we'll boom.
Okay. So that takes me on to my next question. one of the patterns that I've noticed over the last 2-3 years is that in the cities as hotels, we tend to be price takers. You can build budget hotel of 2-star, you can build a 5-star hotel, and the difference in price will hardly be reflective of the difference in the investment. And the large opportunity that we see as underserved and where people are ready to pay a premium because there isn't that much quality inventory available is in the leisure, MICE and convention segments. And my question to therefore Mr. Saubhagya Mahapatra is what role can leisure play in creating a wider development opportunity? And in a state like Orissa, which has so much leisure in comparison to urban opportunity, what's the role that leisure can play in giving you more avenues for investment and return?
See, today's date, this is a Kasi Chandi, what I can tell you, time poor, what is going on. The people are really looking for a leisure. You can see people maintain the budget when they go to the corporate world. When they go for the leisure, they don't really want this budget. And today's date, this works like a detox to the any family or anybody, individuals. So leisure is now a very big market, and you'll see it is growing in the 2-tier city or the 3-tier city, and people are more interested to go for at least in a year, twice or thrice, and spend the holiday with their families. When they are in the holiday, they don't care about the what kind of money they are spending. And we have put a hotel in Gopalpur. When we started this hotel in Gopalpur, it was a risk factor that time. Now, believe me, today's date, it is maintaining one of the highest ARR in its zone. It is almost 8,000 plus and occupancy of 60%. Yes, we have taken a risk. That is when there is no infrastructure available. Of course, it was a delightful conditions. Now, it has been converted to one of the best deluxe property. So, if you believe me, if you see the ARR in the leisure hotels, it is going to be very, very up. And it is going to be, the market is going to be increased very fast. Regarding the second, what you asked about the leisure and the MICE. The MICE and the wedding, it is really growing very, very fast. Earlier, the hotel, the bigger hotel chains, when they used to make the hotel, they used to call it as art. They used to make the hotel as an art. Now, today's day, the art and science, and they are also looking to with the art and science the commercial valuable. See, I'll tell how it is. When somebody is maintaining a hotel, they are always designing the hotel how they'll occupy for the 250 days plus. See, if there is a wedding, the wedding is occupying minimum 100 days, and they design the hotel in such a way where the another 150 days will be occupied. Both these MICE and the wedding that occupy the whole hotel, and that also use every department fully. They used to use like spa, there is a F&B, there is a banquet, there is a what you call travels, everybody keeps busy. So now today's every smart hoteliers, they are going for this too, wedding and as well as the MICE tourism, MICE sector very well. And this is also, you are in a one function, you are creating 1,000 ambassadors for your hotels. And so a smart hoteliers always definitely are these two things. And every time also we are also very much interested to put what bigger MICE or bigger convention center in Orissa for that also.
Thank you. Compliments on the risk you took in Gopalpur as an emerging market. Very well done. Very, very fabulous product. I had the pleasure of seeing it myself. We have with us Dinesh Chadha from IHCL. Dinesh Bhai, the Tajness, does it work with leisure? Is leisure a priority area? Sure, 5 years. 5 years from the Taj's perspective.
So, I agree with my friend sitting on the right that it is not next 5 years, but the India story has just started. So, historically, any economy which has grown in any country is having a major domestic consumption, and so is the case with India. So, we have such a huge market within ourselves for the tourism, for leisure. Talking about where we don't so much depend on overseas, of course. The international travelers till 2 years back, as per data, was 1.2 billion coming to India, and slated to be 2 billion by 2030. So the point I was trying to make is that it doesn't stop here, just in the next 5 years. Then coming on to the leisure segment, as part of IHC and Airports Company, we have been pioneer in developing many states as destination for tourism, and that is known to one and all by now. Kerala, Goa, Rajasthan, and now recently Andaman. And as we speak now, we are going to north and northeast. The focus has always been to bring a state or a city to the international tourist map, thereby bringing in the investment and the potential to grow in that particular state or city. So there is always been a huge demand of travelers coming, and yes, with the ease of getting visas, with the ease of getting developing the better infrastructure, there's always been a potential. The only slight drawback is that still the connectivity to many places is a challenge, which I believe in time to come will improve.
So, great point you make about connectivity. I saw a newspaper advertisement for an airline a few weeks ago. It showed 3 direct connections to Jaisalmer. I think a lot has changed in the last 5 years. We started the last 5 years with 30 odd airports, and I think we are sitting today at about 80 odd airports. I think that connectivity issue is well and truly begun. Mr. Keswani, are we wasting our money in the cities? Should we be putting it in resorts? Should we be putting it in leisure products?
No, I don't. I think you have to find your own mix. Without the city hotels, you won't have the base to run your business in terms of volume. And the greater distribution that you can put around leisure will really work on how you understand the near catchment demographic of where you want to go. You may wish to have an upscale resort in a place that's not reachable by a mid-high scale customer. So you've got to look at the demographics, you've got to look at the connectivity, and it's like anything that you finance. You put a certain amount on low risk and a certain amount on high risk, and that's how your numbers come together. But the leisure piece, the MICE piece really is an evolution because there is greater spending power. And despite the fact that the government will always insist on taking away our money, there is enough money to be spent and enough holidays to be had. So I think you need to have your best distribution. So Lemon Tree began, for instance, mainly in the metro and tier 1A cities, but we've over the last 5 years grown exponentially in the resort segment because we know we can back it up with the distribution and we have the access to the customer wherever infrastructure is available. I don't think it's up to hoteliers to create infrastructure. That is the government's job. It is the government's job to create an infrastructure on better taxation. Unfortunately, I don't think they understand that. I'm not too sure they will in the near future. So I think we've got to look after ourselves the way we have always, which might be slow, but it'll be pretty sure.
I'm told to leave in about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to do that last question for you, so I'll keep you free thereafter. So while we manage our portfolio and our money, we don't put all our eggs in one basket. And so do you have a strategy, for diversified assets across segments, first class, upscale, mid-market, economy. Are you doing? Do you have a strategy on how you split between these?
So of course we've got, at the present moment, we have 3 brands and we are going into the upscale level very soon. In the next 6 months we'll have an announcement. So we will continue to build and distribute or own and manage within those 4 brands as we go along. But what I think everybody needs to understand is that while we believe mid-scale and economy hotels are what is required by the country, which I agree with, you'll be surprised that the land rates in all the locations that need these kind of hotels make an economy and a mid-scale unaffordable to make. So, which is where I would appeal to all governments that you need to look at land banks that are available at lease rentals and lease periods that are extended, so that it makes your investment portfolio well balanced. I mean, we would like to go, for instance, with an economy product into Varanasi, but an acre of land in Varanasi can cost you 45 crores rupees. It suddenly makes it unviable. Same thing in Agra. Same thing in both Gayas. I mean, I can keep naming cities that we've accessed, but it's not possible. While the customer base exists for those kind of hotels. So a strange dichotomy, and the government will keep creating land banks, which are new land banks, without looking at land banks where you can have access. So a little confusing, and which is why if you see the costing that was shown to you before, they were all for upscale costing, 70 lakhs a key. But do you have the customer for 70 lakhs a key? We build it, then we can't run it. So I think that's where the piece lies. If there were land banks available at extended lease rentals, which were more economical, I think all of us in this room, Mr. Kamath included, would jump at the opportunity the next morning. Am I right? So that's what I'd like to have the government do. Thank you.
Anshu, you recently split up the brand into clear segments. Strategy between the segments and views of this?
So very clearly there is a potential that exists for different products, different brands within this, so to speak, mid-market budget economy segment that we're talking about. And I think if there is a differentiated offering that we are able to give to each category, it just makes that much more sense to be able to give the right price, right product to each of them, which is how we ended up splitting. Having said that, I would still like to go back to the earlier 2 points which Ratan also made, that apart from the fact that you would have a category, so let's take leisure for that matter and take Goa as a very prominent leisure market or an established leisure market, you would have all sorts of products. You have 5-star luxury and so on and so forth. Same rules fundamentally apply to each, and I think in a manner of speaking, when I say tourism and I'm extending it a little over here, if you take airlines or hotels, you run a full service carrier, you run a low cost carrier, you run a full service hotel, you run a mid-scale hotel. The same norms end up applying, and whereas the metrics are not the same, and therefore the viability of each of the product differs. I think the second issue that also comes up along with it, and I know I'm digressing from your key question, is the paucity of talent, and I think that's another area where the government can help in creating colleges, infrastructure, educational institutes which can churn out the right talent with the same speed at which we require, and curriculum which is more in sync with what the industry norms are today, as opposed to archaic academic programs that we have today. So that's my only addition. I think I answered your point on the 3 brands.
Important point you make on talent. You can scale up and build as many hotels as you like. The hospitality is the people that occupy the hotel, not the building itself. Mr. Chadha, you had a few rebrandings this year, the year before that. First we heard that Vivanta would no longer exist and Gateway would be the one that propagates. Now we hear that Gateway won't exist, Vivanta will be propagating. What are the brands that will go out into the market next, and what's your strategy vis-a-vis the brands? Where will we see the growth or the majority of Taj hotels emerging over the next 5 years? What are the brands that will really grow to size from here?
Taj has been existing for the last 115 years. Now, the Taj has had many different phases as far as branding is concerned. The times have changed, and with that,
has come in and given a different perspective altogether. So what we call it reimagining our brand scheme. So the Taj brand remains in the luxury iconic segment, which has always been so. Then followed by the Vivanta, which is an upscale hotel brand, and the last is Ginger, which we call as the lean luxury segment. We're talking about this. Now the reason for this differentiation is, I come back. There is one more you see any gateway city or any major metro can have more than one Taj, fine, but not all the cities, many metros and other two-tier cities. But every place needs a decent place, for the tourists as well as for the corporates to come and stay. So Vivanta being an upscale, which is not opulent actually, but at the same time an upscale brand, we want to bring to the mini metros and other metros. Now we feel the future of industry, what you were saying is, lies in this mid-range brands. Why? Because India being such a vast country, geographically, there's so many regions, areas which are still to be penetrated. You cannot have a Taj or a Vivanta everywhere, but you can have Ginger all over. So we have a plan to grow multi-fold in next 5 years. We have some vision which is called Aspiration 2020. So our aim is to grow our Taj brand. Let's say if we have 100 hotels, then say 20 to 25 will be Taj, around 35-40 will be Vivantas, and another 40 will be Ginger. Another aspect to look at this landscape is that there's some names which are synonymous by they don't need any introduction. For example, a Savoy Hotel or a hotel which is being built many years back has already established its name. Plus, if we want to have a specially boutique hotel which does not warrant any of these categories, so for that we have something called selections. So we are the distinction of different names for different cities are going to be there. So as far as your question goes, that yes, gateway is going to be changed. The upper scale will go to the Vivanta, and lower scale will go to the Ginger. Vivanta will remain as it is, and Taj will always be.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. I'm picking up from Anshu's point a little bit. And this is really for the larger audience and not just the government. There is a need for jobs in our country, and there is an absence of academic and skilled learning. But having said that, in our family structures and panchayat structures, somehow all believe that hospitality is either too sexy or too sinful. Let me assure you, it's neither of the two, but it's one industry that can give a job to somebody who's maybe class 3 or 4, educated up to their college education. We skill them, we multi-skill them, we laterally skill them, and we help them grow and also qualify them. So I think in the mindset of everybody, whether it's government, educators, etc., if that could seep into our homes, you will actually solve a huge problem for us, which is access to human capital.
Mr. Mahapatra, I didn't expect to ask you this question, but will we see a mid-scale Mayfair or a budget Mayfair? Is there some segmentation coming? Orissa seems to have a lot of camping opportunities. There's no way you can put 5-star hotels in the middle of the Mahanadi. Is there another product coming? Is there a great traveling tent company coming out of Orissa?
See, we are known for the luxury class hotels, and whether it is a 2-tier city or 3-tier city, we always try to give the luxury classes hotel. We don't classify hotels as a mid or lower or the higher. See, we are believing in the next 5 years' time, we will come up with a luxury homestay. We wanted to call it as a luxury homestay, and within the base of the main 5-star hotel or main hotels, within 150 kilometers radius, we wanted to come around 10 to 15 luxury homestay in the city or in the country. Whether it's a northeast or it's a Odisha, wherever it is, this is our area. And second, we wanted to come in a 2-3 city on a for the to improvise the more on the MICE and to see the demand. We want to come into the Mayfair convention. That is our intention for next 5 years' time. Although we are already in the pipeline of 3-4 5-star deluxe properties in 3-4 2-tier cities, although we are coming also in Calcutta, one of the best 5-star deluxe property. But what I feel, the demand is coming, the luxury homestay, one. Number two is to cater the MICE tourism. We want to come to Mayfair convention.
So if you need an auditor for this homestays, feel free to call me. I'll be happy to check them out for you and let you know if everything is in place. Over the last 7-8 years, one process is very clearly taken foot. Hotel ownership and hotel brands have separated. Our panel here is a bit of an exception. We have a hotel owner-operator on my right, we have a hotel owner-operator on my left, and we have Mr. Chadha who is also a hotel owner-operator. But going forward, and the global norm is that management and ownership of hotels have almost completely separated. So a lot of gentlemen and ladies in the room who are potentially thinking about investing in hotels, should you be engaging a brand? Yes, absolutely. It's not a game for a one-off unless it's something very, very boutique and specific. So let's do our last question in the space of the equation between owner and operator as far as how they can collaborate together. And I think one pure owner and operator we have on this panel. We have a pure owner on the far right, Gyana Das, and we have a pure operator on the left. So who wants to go first, Asim or Gyana? Asim, don't be too nice to each other. We want to get some fireworks. Okay, so question simply put, how do owners and operators spread their risk, their investments, their responsibilities in coming together for a good investment and a good return?
As Keswani said earlier, I think a lot depends on what the owner is investing, the amount that the owner is investing. I think when the project becomes kind of unviable, it is already by the time the operator comes in, it becomes very difficult for the operator to sort of take it on and deliver the returns that are expected of them. So I think that's important that what he mentioned earlier, it's important that the tourism sort of ministry recognizes this and gives us the breaks, the tax breaks to the owner, gives them a higher sort of ability to be able to pay the loans back. So that's the first step. And then when the operator comes in, I think working together with the owners, understanding what their requirements are, and the owners understanding what the brand requirements are. I think now we are moving away from more and more of the brand standards, as they were called, more towards brand experiences. So that makes a little bit of that gap closer, so that you can work together with the owners and create the right brand experience. There are, of course, standards that is necessary. So that way the owner is also comfortable with the idea that they don't have to follow every standard laid down by every hotel brand so strictly. It's more about the experience that we are trying to deliver. And then once the hotel is operational, working together with the owner on a sort of constant basis, evolving with them, investing with them, I think that's the way to be. And the more sort of closer the relationship is, I think the better it is for both the parties.
Gyana, is Asim doing a good job?
Our portfolio, when the numbers would show, and I think fantastic partners for sure hired. With 3 partners hired, Marriott and Jaconda for now. Hopefully we should have more. But no, I come from, I'm actually outsider. I'm actually not hotelier. I'm an architect and a planner. I've been working in the hotel industry for about over a decade and a half now. But I can tell you that tax has never been a problem for us. I mean, they're talking on behalf of an owner. Tax has never been a problem for us because tax is always a percentage of my earning. It's always a percentage. It's never a fixed number. Whatever I earn, I pay that. And I have run numbers from an analyst. I have been working as an analyst for a thing. I've run numbers for feasibilities of different hotels. Tax is the last thing that I calculate. Because all I do is that the feasibility, where my demand is, where's the base is, and how. Those are the critical base numbers that I look into it. And as you said, is that the first thing that we believe is the pure play. I think that the Western world has done that, and I think India does as we grow into the developing economy towards the developed economy. We always realize that the developed economy always believed in pure play. Marriott did couple of decades back, they split their ownership platform and the operating platform. They became host hotels and Marriott separately. I think India also it will happen. Keshwani's team and Golden Hotels and everything. We always constantly debate about owner, operator, and separate operator and separate owner. We always have constant debates about hours and hours of debate, which is good, which is bad. But the debate will continue. But I think as our economy, our industry matures, pure play players in the hospitality sector will become the demand of the time. Because as I say that, okay, I am a non-retailer and say that, okay, the same CEO who is thinking about how to market my brand cannot think about how to finance my asset. They are two different calibers required, and Nikhil will confirm that the financial capability and the brand capability are entirely two different mindset, two different sides of the brain you think about it. So internationally, if you see, Accor has gone. Accor was owner and operator, but they also realized the market used to penalize them heavily on the valuation. Today they split. They did a separation of their ownership platform. Their valuation has gone more than 1.5 times in a separate group. If you add both the platforms, have gone more than 1.5 times what they used to have as a combined entity. So it's a clear sign is that what Asim need to think on a day-to-day basis and what I need to think on a day-to-day basis are entirely two different things. So yes, I need to watch over Asim and say, okay, this is what is the demand of my financial feasibility. Asim will also correct me, this is how it is operating. So there is a constant battle going on, also hand in hand. I can say it's a battle because it's a healthy battle. That's how we both of us play around on that. So yes, I think as we see, I think in the next 5, 10, 20 years, I don't know when it will happen, but we believe in pure play. We continue in pure play because that sets each individual's role very clear. We have been discussing where I think Taj for a long time. Why won't Taj sell its own assets? If you split Taj balance sheet, you clearly see that Taj's 90% to 95% of income comes from ownership assets. How much is coming from the management side of it? I'll ask that, can you split the management side of business and ownership side of business and give us a balance sheet of that? What we see is that internationally everybody has done that. Why would you do it? It's a publicly listed company. I ask the question, why would you split it? Because just by splitting that ownership itself, you will encash a lot of value. So I think as we progress, this pure play will even get more mature. The market will also demand because analysts will figure it out. Good thing, what I think Keshwani's team and everybody has done that, they have now educated the market. And thank you, it a fabulous job done. I have listened to their analyst calls and everything. What a fantastic job they're doing, actually educating the investor community that what is hospitality, how is things happen, what are the different levers of that. Fabulous, thanks a lot, I appreciate it. I think great job. What a team, I think you have done 80% of what we should be doing in future. I think you have gave us an easier path. You have done the hard job on that, and thanks a lot for that. I think going forward, we will see pure play coming with the picture, brand, operator. I think in international, you'll see brand is separate, operation is separate, ownership is separate, even development is separate. Somebody develops it, hands it over to an owner, which is a long-term investor. Somebody operates it, somebody brands it. They're clearly separate.
I suspect we are going to hear the contrary from Mr. Keswani. So let me have a quick word before I go to Nikhil Sahani.
I'm going to just quickly say a word. I have a flight to catch, but let me just put it in two perspectives. One is, I think both these gentlemen are either calling you bachelors or spinsters. Neither the two exist. The second piece is, this relationship between owner-operator is just like getting married. So either you stay single to be safe, but just like you work on a marriage, when you get into it, you go into it for keeps, at least you want to. You don't go with the presumption of divorce. And you work your way around it. An owner-operator relationship is exactly a mix of that. So if you're going to shy away from marriage, then don't get into it. But if you're into the institution of marriage, look for people like us. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
And again, let us come back to that.
This.
Go ahead, please. Dinesh. That's okay.
So, Indian Hotels Company is an operating company principal.
I request the crowd to please settle down. So we have one last comment from Dinesh Chandra on the subject of owners and operators, and then I'll have Nikhil Sahni have the final word before I summarize this panel.
Yeah, because you wanted to differentiate between the operators and the owners. So we are owners and operators, and we are also management company. So since we are owners and operators, we value other owners' investment and return on investment. So it is not only about the relationship, but also about the understanding other owners' requirements. You do very well. It is how to structure the team around his needs and requirements. If you do that, then owner will be happy. So we have so many owners with whom we have relationship of so many decades now. We are talking about this. Now, the holding company is the one which is responsible to take all companies, all different JV, everything under its umbrella. So that is our internal company letter. So there is no discussion about that. So the point I'm trying to make over here is that yes, the development has to happen. It is not that owners will not build and they will not give different brands to operate the properties. It is only how you make them feel comfortable and how when they approach you, you tell them the value of an operator and also your brand.
Nikhil, I apologize. I haven't come to you too often on this panel. Some of the questions were very hotelier oriented. From you, I'd like to hear from you as a banker. If there was a project under consideration, would you like to see a brand operating an asset ideally? Does that make a difference in your perception? And also, any closing comments you have from a banker's perspective on what can drive investment into these assets? Everybody's ready to take the risk. Everybody has a bit of equity available, but banks have to back them up to at least 2/3 of these investments. What would you like to see to be able to lend more, to be enabled and allowed to lend more to the industry? Any comments you have before I summarize this panel?
Thanks, Prashant. First of all, I'd say that from a banker's perspective, we typically always look at both the intent and interest, and that is where it will stay. Structuring is something that I would leave to all these gentlemen and lady to look at. Our interest point would be to see what is the promoter interest and intent. You have promoters in the country who want to only invest in an asset and forget all about it, and there are others who want to run the show. So it is absolutely their own level where they have to go. I think one of the discussions that I was having this discussion offline with Gyan is on I think the need for more matured ARCs, because asset reconstruction companies in India who take over difficult assets typically try to run it themselves. Maybe they might do a word of good by trying to stay away from wanting to run the show themselves. I think they are investors. And fact of the matter is, I think just two closing points. This is more from a policy standpoint. I think one of the things that has really come up and markets have given it a thumbs up is aggregators. And aggregators are a, and I'm again being blunt, aggregators are a real threat to the overall hotelier industry. So I think there is a significant need again at the central ministry level to, you will need to politicize this. Unless and until you politicize it, you might be looking at a problem. And I'm opening it up, because we have a lot of smart individuals who are going to use any sort of regulatory arbitrage put to them and make business out of it. And they are really smart. We have a 25-year-old who's possibly now at $10 billion. So, well, beware. And that puts to rest your entire conversation about owner versus operating. Well, that's a different model. All right. And the last comment is, I think this is for Orissa. There are states in the country right now who are wanting to position themselves. Well, it is said that India will mature to the extent that over the next 20 years, the Olympics will come to this country. I think there is a starting point that Bhubaneswar has taken. I would actually urge the government to possibly work faster on this. There is a city in a particular state in this country which is already working on it. Thank you.
I will dodge the bait that Nikhil laid out with that last point. We will not follow that question about aggregators and valuations. Okay, so we'll ignore the music also from the next hall. But a quick summary of the discussion that we've had. I think clear differentiation of roles of government, private players, destination management companies. Government's job is to ensure that people can get from place to place safely, fast. Also to make sure that credit is available by formulating policy where small viable projects also have equal opportunity to get funding. It shouldn't be that the minute the funding is available only for 200 crore projects, people build the wrong project in the wrong place and the projects fail because they're too large for the market. If we want a small location, we want to test it, let us do the 20 crore project. There's nothing wrong with giving infrastructure status. You're creating inventory in a market. And the last point was an important point, I can't remember who made it, I think it was Ratan Keswani, about zoning of lands. You don't want your person building commercial prime offices or A-grade residential projects competing with poor hoteliers who are trying to put up an asset that not only does 10% of the country's GDP, it also employs 10% of the country's population. So with a little bit of policy correction at a national level, sir, and at a state level in each state, a common minimum program between each state, no matter which government in place. This is a national issue for India and it shouldn't be subject to each government that comes and goes. There are some building blocks we've got to put in place so that our future is protected and this industry can single-handedly pull this country out of, create employment for the great demographic of people, young people coming out. I think it was Arun Nanda, chairman of Mahindra Holidays, at a recent conference who said they put out a 10,000 crore plant in Pune, in Chakan, and created 500 jobs. And they invested 500 crores in one resort and created over 1,000, 2,000 jobs. So basically that tells you this industry can employ the future generations that are coming. Enable it with credit, enable it with land laws, enable it with connectivity. The people on the stage and the people in the hall will do everything else. Thank you very much for a lovely panel. From my right, Yana Das, Sami Hotels. Next to him, Dilip Chadha from Taj Hotels. Mr. Savagya Mahapatra needs no introduction. We fondly call him the Beast of the East. And we have Anshu Sarit from Bogren Hotels and Keys Hotels. We fondly remember Mr. Ratan Keswani, who is no longer with us here today. And Asim, last minute flight, thank you so much for coming down to be here for Sanjay Sharma from the Hyatt Hotels. And we have Nikhil Sani from Yes Bank. Anybody wants to connect to them? After the next panel, please, we're going to start a second panel straight away now.
May I please request our panel to remain with us. Thank you. With this, we conclude the session. Thank you, Mr. Arur, for leading the discussions of this panel discussion. Thank you to all our panelists for their eminent deliberations and taking up some pertinent points on the respective topic. May I please invite Shri Suresh Chandra Mahapatra to join us and do the honors of presenting the mementos. May I request you, sir, to present the first memento to our session moderator, Mr. Prashant Arur. Ladies and gentlemen, these are beautifully hand woven shawls from Kotpad, Odisha. They have been made by using all natural dyes and organic fabric, and of course the silver filigree Konak chakra. It's cotton, but it's an organic fabric, and the dyes are all vegetable dyes. They're all natural dyes, and it's from the tribal part of Odisha, Kotpad. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll request you to please remain with us, as you know that we have a second panel discussion immediately after we felicitate our panelists for the session. Let's have a big round of applause for session moderator and panelists for their pertinent deliberations. May I please invite on stage Shri Satyajit Rajan, Director General from the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. We would also like to present the beautiful Kotpad shawl along with the silver filigree Konak chakra. This is a small token of appreciation. Thank you. We now move on to our second round of panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few moments while we make the necessary table arrangements.
Welcome to all of you, especially those who have come from outside the state and for the first time you are visiting Odisha. The theme today is not this. The theme is Odisha, the best kept secret, India's best kept secret. Earlier, people used to know Odisha by Lord Jagannath's temple only. Whenever people come from outside the state, they normally visit Puri, Konak and Bhubaneswar, and they think Odisha doesn't have anything else to offer. But that is not correct. Today, deliberately this theme has been kept so that we'll discuss what more Odisha has to offer. Odisha has a lot more to offer actually to the tourists, especially to nature lovers. It is a biodiversity hotspot, you can say. It is the only state where forest is growing for last 20 years. And in fact, in last 2 years, from 2015 to 17, almost 900 square kilometers of forest has increased in Odisha. This is a green paradise, you can say. You can travel hundreds of kilometers through forest only in this state. So, from Forest Service of India's data, we are growing the forest. Forest is growing, the intensity of forest is also growing. And you can see almost all kinds of wildlife in this state. And many wildlife which is extremely rare. We have given some examples. We have a very small video of a video clip of about 4-5 minutes. I'd like all of you to see that. We have shown some of the wonderful landscapes and wildlife which is available in this state, which is not known to people from outside the state, so that they can see all these things. And from our department, from Forest Department, we have we are trying to popularize all these places. We are trying to provide night stay facility and experience to the people who can stay inside the nature. They can enjoy the nature. In turn, all the income will go to the local communities. So community managed nature camps we are developing since last 3 years, and we are trying to popularize all these places so that more investment comes to these areas, and it is these places are developed in a sustainable manner. The local community, they get more income, and in turn they preserve the nature, they conserve the nature, they conserve the forest and wildlife. So that is the ultimate aim. So with this, I think if you see the video clip, we'll have a glimpse of what we have to offer and what are the places people can see and enjoy the nature. Thank you.
Can we have the video on ecotourism offerings on the stage, please?
much, ladies and gentlemen, for the second session on Orissa, India's best kept secret. I think by the end of this panel, we want to make it India's worst kept secret or India's best known destination. I'd like to start with complimenting Sri Mahapatra, who I had the pleasure of speaking to and his assistant as well. It seems like the four pillars government here as far as tourism is concerned, Mr. Vishal Dev, Mr. Mahapatra, Ms. Archana Patnaik, have all come together very well to collaborate and create an alternative template for tourism in Orissa. It doesn't always have to be big, heavy, and very busy. It can be cute, it can be eclectic, it can be delicate, it can be responsible, it can be memorable, and there is more than one way to create a great tourism platform. It doesn't always have to be with heavy private investment. So, starting off from this video and Mr. Mahapatra's early address, I'd like to go to Dr. Vital Kamath, who needs no introduction, besides being one of my early gurus when I was starting up, the person I looked up to. He's also an institution by himself. Everybody has a sense that you've seen him before you met him, and the truth is you probably have. In the vast chain of Vital Kamath restaurants across India. Mr. Kamath, you've helped tremendously the governments of Maharashtra and other states on designing their policy on undiscovered locations. How to find a place with great elements of natural beauty, great marketability. What should the government do? What should the private parties do? What should destination managers do? What should eminent citizens do? How does this all come together to create a success story? What has worked in the past and what advice would you give Orissa?
Thank you very much. First of all, let us give a big hand for yesterday's evening presentation. One of the finest presentation I have ever seen. My full name is Vital Venkatesh Kamath, created more than 645 hotel restaurants all over world. But I have not seen such a lovely show in the city of Orissa, because I came here, it's a secret in which I'm going to reveal. I came here 2007 and traveled from Diga to Baranpur. I drove myself and I realized I'm not a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur sees a gap, map and tap. And that's a big gap I have seen in Orissa in tourism. And there I realized it's a time. Today we have more than 3 hotels and few restaurants. But I happened to meet the great Chief Minister of Orissa. He promised me that yes, you can get this and what will you do? And in a given time, we have set up these places. Friends, I'm grateful to OTDC, you get all the support. I'm advocating this because Odisha has already adopted me. I'm here for last 11 years. I would recommend it as an advocate for 2 reasons. One, all other states, government, they feel government has business into other people's business. But in Orissa, they give you free hand. They say you do your business and see that you bring prosperity to the place. Secondly, one of the best infrastructure and law and order, which you may not get elsewhere. And that is another reason we are putting up 3 more hotels. The third and most important, friends, when you do business, you get a pleasure out of it. What I do in Bombay, I get stressed out of it. So when you get a pleasure out of it, it's an additional benefit. It is not important how much money I make, but if I can keep my good health, that is also very important. And that is why, friends, I decided I should retire here. I have come to retire in Orissa. I have a slogan, Orissa Chari Disha. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kamath. Dr. Kamath. Mr. Mahapatra, welcome back on the second panel. I hope you can hear me. And I'm asking you this question as a well-wisher and citizen of Orissa, not as Mayfair Hotels, not as the CEO of Mayfair Hotels or MD of Mayfair Hotels. My question to you is, given this vast alternative template available. Forests, inland waterways, ecosystems, animals, birds, tribes, customs, practices, arts. Is there a different template for investment in Orissa? Is there a different approach that can be done from traditional brick and mortar hospitality which we are used to doing?
So I'll tell you, the Odisha tourism is one of the best profile tourism in India. It's one of the best profile. In this tourism, you'll get, I used to call it as a tourism theater, where you'll get it beach tourism, you'll get a wellness tourism, you'll get a hill tourism, whatever. A lot of things are available. As a destination wise or as a segment wise, the Odisha tourism is rich. Yes, what rightly said, you have to put it in the right platter, and the dots are there. Only thing is that now government is trying very hard to draw the lines and to create a best destination. What I feel, I am really feeling proud today. 2/3 of the GDP is here. 2/3 of GDP of India is here today. It was not there earlier. Now that means the opportunity is there, hope is there, and definitely will grow more. And it is growing. See, on past panel you were asking about the 5 years. What kind of development we are seeing? I'll tell you, Odisha is going to be definitely much bigger. And here now, the government has come up with a corporate mindset. They are now, if they can, 37 projects they can clear in single window in one go. So definitely there is a willingness is there to go for a proper goal. And if you'll ask me honestly, the last 5 years, I'm very closely working with the tourism, and I'm seeing the kind of interest they're taking now. The kind of interest is there, so definitely a lot of interest will come. Now let's come to the what kind of opportunities are there. See, the connectivity has been improved and continuously it is improving. So that means when I used to travel once, 9-10 years before, when I used to go to the aircraft, so I used to know 90% of people being an hotelier. Now today's date, if I'm going to the aircraft, I think 1 or 2 people I know, the rest 90% people I don't know. So that means the new people are coming, the new team are coming, the people are, definitely movement is there. It's good for us. Now the next one is it is slowly, or you must be knowing the sports events slowly is going day by day. I think 2 years before, when this Asian Athletics Championship had come, I remember correctly, they had come to our hotel. Can you give us a support? I said, why not? We'll definitely. And the government has taken this challenge that time. They make it the event ready within 90 days time. They convert the challenge to a what you call opportunity, and which is now growing. In future, definitely I'm 100% sure the Odisha government will definitely use this opportunity and put a sports center. Now it must be the second airport has already come in Jharsuguda. They will definitely take also the Western Odisha as a sports center, like Raulkela is always famous for the Sundara district famous for the hockey. So Jharsuguda is there, Sambalpur is there. So they can create a sports center that side, including also Khordha, Bhubaneswar and Tata. If they'll create a sports center, and 100% must know that Kota is always famous for the IIT training program. That way Odisha is going to be known for the training center for the sports in near future. Definitely there is it. Now coming to the other side, I always tell if we develop the tourism, let us take the tourism in a two way. One is the destination-wise development, another is segment-wise development. See, destination-wise, we have so many, you have seen the videos. See, the ecotourism has a lot of future, which we can definitely develop. And the similar way, we are having different segment of tourism which needs to be consideration. Like one festival we are doing, Konark Festival. If you tell the right story to the right people, definitely there will be a lot of movement will be there. You must be knowing that in India or internationally, nationally, there is a lot of schools are there which are in a compulsory they are making a dance program, they are dance classes. If you talk to all the schools or the dance, the people who are interested for this, people tell the story rightly, definitely this Konark festival will become a event which people look for the next years, and the Konark can be definitely more. So this is I always think in this way as a tourism.
To my right, we have Pranab Sarkar, who is the president of IATO, a powerful body that can decide, make and break the fate of a destination. In his personal capacity, he is also the promoter of Swagatam Tours, which besides India does work, what is it, sir? Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka maybe? From your perspective, what really works when it comes to destination management and marketing? Sometimes there's a disconnect between what the government and the hotels and the people think works, whereas you on the sales side, you always know what works in great destinations and what people think works sometimes but doesn't really work. From your perspective, what's it going to take to be able to market Orissa and show the world what it has to offer? What are the missing pieces? What are the early warnings to government? What are the requirements that you want to see before you really can get an organization behind Orissa State and make it a destination of repute?
First of all, I would like to thank Orissa Tourism to organize such a beautiful platform to discuss how to grow tourism to this state. Fortunately, IATO as a body of inbound tourism, members who are the part of our association, they are working mainly for bringing in foreign tourists to the country and earn valuable foreign exchange. And that foreign exchange, out of 100, 95 to 98% retains in India, except 3% they are spending on marketing. So that means even in exports, you are spending 75% and retention is only 25%, whereas in tourism retention is very high. Therefore, government is giving importance to the tourism, which also generating employment at a lower cost. The examples given in our previous session only, that with a minimal investment, you get number of jobs created. It is not only in the cities, but also every nook and corner of the city it is possible. So this is our job. And when I started my career way back in 1975, state governments are not so proactive promoting tourism for their states, because tourism was never been the priority on the chart of the government. Food, clothes and shelter, nothing about that. Therefore, it took long time to catch the tourism as the important subject for the government to give focus. Even now, there are many states, they don't give importance. If you look, there are only few states they have come up in a big way, like Rajasthan, Goa, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh. Now you see Odisha has already come up. now followed by Andhra, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, and there are some states they feel they are full of tourists and they don't promote at all, like Goa, like Arunachal Pradesh, because there is pilgrimage tourism coming there in Arunachal. They don't feel number is too high, but actually that is not the quality of tourists they should look into it. You are not actually doing the tourism, you are pilgrimage. In Goa, beaches are already pre-sold. So they are coming, they have opened with the charter flights, they are full with the tourists. That is why they are not investing on tourism. But a state who gives the importance and develops the circuits, they are going to benefit in a big way on long-term basis. Because when you look at, I just give you one simple example. In 2011, we had our convention in Gujarat. Then Mr. Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. He invited ITO to have the convention. And then first meeting itself, I said, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. He said, what he said, that I must thank you because you are going to develop tourism in my state and my young boys and girls, every corner, they are going to get the job. This is the kind of concept. And today Gujarat has gone way ahead of many states if you look at it. The way they are promoting the tourism, the way they are promoting the white run of Kutch, the tainted city, now followed by the statue, again another tainted city. So that is the kind of tourism they are inviting and every people of India they want to go. Similarly, there has to have something to happen in Odisha. Odisha has a dearth of abundance of natural beauty, quality, temples, architecture, sea, beach, mountain, forest, animals, what not. It is only the how you are going to project. Fortunately, we had very good relationship with the Odisha tourism and we had two conventions in Odisha in 2006 and as well as 2017 and both of the period when our convention took place, Odisha came into the map of tourists, firstly domestic and then international. Today's date, last time your Commissioner of Tourism, he was there in Delhi and he mentioned after the convention there was a 30% growth in tourist arrival in Odisha. So that is the kind of promotion one has to do. It is not only the development, it has to develop first. The product, you have to come out with the product, then the infrastructure, then the marketing of the area, and you will see the automatic investment come into these areas. Because when there are footfall, what is investment? Investment, whosoever does the investment, he wants return. How he is going to get the return when the footfall is there, he is going to make the money. And government facilitator is to facilitate with the kind of services and the ease of business and with least paper job. And thankfully, last year, conclave, Odisha government has already come out with a tourism policy, single window policy. So those things are giving benefit to Odisha. And you see today, there are so many hotels are coming up or big chains are ready to come to Odisha. There are circuits they are going to invest on. So those are the areas. Now, the main part is that how we are going to market the product. Because tourism is selling of not the commodity, not the thing, anything, but see the experience, looking at your own monument, looking at your own natural resources, and then you are experiencing. That is how what you are selling. When you come here, you are spending money. You are spending on your transportation, you are spending on your hotels, you are spending on your accommodation, food, then you are spending on the handicrafts and so many things, and the money which does not belong to the states becomes the state's property. If somebody comes from Tamil Nadu and spends money here, that means you are getting that extra money for the state. This money was not there for the state. If a foreign tourist comes from abroad, they comes to India and spend the money, that foreign exchange remains with the country, and the circulation of this fund is the benefit to the state as well as to the country. This is how the infrastructure is developed. This is how the circulations of money happens, and this is how government collects the taxes. So therefore, everywhere, everyone is benefiting, and with the Odisha tourism, they are doing a marvelous job. And with this, I would only suggest that their marketing efforts should be little more generous. They should come out with marketing not only within India, but also abroad. We are the ambassadors. As a tour operator, when a sector is being promoted, we visit that. And then we make a itinerary and program, and then go to the foreign operators and try to sell them. And foreign operator as is something unique to see. What is unique to show? We have to see what is unique in Odisha. So therefore, we can market it very well. In Hindi, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So therefore, you have to show what you have, and therefore you are able to sell what you can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sudha. Deman Bakshi from Adlabs Entertainment. One of the first fine examples of large-scale amusement, very successfully set up in Kopoli. I recently went with my little daughter, and we had to pry her away. She wouldn't leave. Unfortunately, your hotel was too expensive. I wish you had a more affordable option. Question to you is, I know Kopoli is fed by two large towns. There's Bombay with a 2 crore population next door. There's Pune with almost, what is it, about 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs. That's a huge catchment for you in terms of being able to drive people. You can pop over in the morning, leave in the evening. Hotels are an extra. If somebody wants to have relaxed evening and spend the night, you want to do a function or a wedding or an event. In a place like Odisha, where I would suspect the number of rooms available is already at stress, you see scope for creating. There's a story of Buddhism, there's a story of Kalinga which turned. Somebody can argue that Kalinga turned the course of humanity's history. So given that significant background exists to Odisha's attractions, is there scope to create a story there? Is there an amusement park waiting to happen? Will it work? Will it run? Will it pay for itself?
You are asking the salesman whether can you sell a merchandise. So the beauty is that first of all, let me admit that I did not know myself that Odisha has so much beauty and brilliant resources in terms of flora, fauna, or the overall heritage or cultural aspects. If we were to change the name, let's say if we blank this out and call it Bali, do you think anybody will be able to figure it out so easily? It's that beautiful and amazing. So very fact is it's about how you market and how much you amplify really. So there is a very beautiful saying which says choices fuel demand. To answer this question really whether an amusement park has a scope or not, there is no question that it has scope. It's about what kind of a template and how the cluster is really created for tourism. It's very simple. The term is public-private partnership. The moment you say that, it's about creating an opportunity, and there will be lots of son of soil, daughters of soil who will come and grab the opportunity. Odisha itself would have so much of entrepreneurs and business people sitting right there who are waiting for things to happen. And it's very simple. You have to start from somewhere, and that start can begin right from a good, well thought out marketing campaign which will revolutionize and transform in no time. Please don't expect government to do everything for you. They just can't. It's impossible. Yeah, government can give you certain policy frameworks, certain infrastructures, but it's local entrepreneurs who are closer to the business, closer to demand as well as fulfillment. They are very clear and they know that if business does well, ultimately they will benefit. If taxes are here to stay, death and taxes are inevitable, so we can't run away from it. Of course, we need concessions. So it's very simply said, if you go to see simply, there is a heritage tourism, there is a religious / spiritual tourism, there is brilliant beach, right? There is ecotourism. So what do you need? You just need a man-made tourism opportunity like an amusement park, which completes the destination. When a family comes for a holiday experience, mind you that there are all age groups, right? Elder ones would be happy to do religious or spiritual tourism. Young ones want fun. Where will they have fun? Just give them an option and the propensity of consumption will just boom. So you can't keep waiting for saying that, okay, let government build the road, let there be a power plant, let there be this, let there be that. Then by the time we would be dead, right? We can't wait for so long. We built a park in middle of nowhere literally. It is a very strong catchment. We literally built a township there. So right from building a power switchyard to a water pipeline to a water treatment plant, a solid waste management, everything. Literally an entrepreneur had to invest. Today we know that if we go to new state, what to ask. But the fact is, there are enough and more people wanting to spend, and especially with the onslaught of digital world, when half the people you see on mobile, whether you're traveling or just going anywhere, right? This is an outdoor recreational activity. You will not only get money, you will get blessings from families when they know that there is a beautiful place such as this waiting for you to experience. So focus is on starting from somewhere, amplify the category and provide enough opportunities to people to consume, and rest will be just history. Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, Diman, thank you very much. Sumesh Mangalache from Kabari Tours in Kerala and Karnataka and Andhra. He told me that Uttarakhand was a great destination. We have a mango hotel in Haridwar. He told us, Jammu is a great destination. We have a mango hotel in Jammu. He told us Kerala is a great destination. We have an Apodis connection in Tikari. Uttarakhand had flooding. Jammu was underwater. Tikari was underwater. Is something going on? Are we killing the destinations we are going out to promote? Are we missing an opportunity to be more careful about environment? Are we missing an opportunity to engage the local population and make them a partner in the growth? Are we not, let's say sustainable, I'm saying sustainable soil, water, energy, food, agriculture, people, practices, local material. Is Orissa a template for recasting the whole arithmetic on leisure and destination? Do we have a new idea for Orissa? What's possible? How practical?
First of all, things which I noticed very important here. One is community participation. You already propagated. Last time I visited, sir invited me. I visited Mangal Jyoti. And of course, I would argue that that is better than Kumaragam, which is Kumaragam already mentioned, because in terms of direct benefit to the community, it's a better project. And also it's empowering the community. That's number one. Number two, in terms of diversity here in Orissa. When I say diversity, you have everything here actually. So that is something market. So for me, if you really analyze the world tourism market today, these two elements, community participation and experiential tourism, these two things which you can market like directly. And answer to your question, for me, the whole India is a tourism destination because that's a diversity which we, that's what we are trying to do actually. And second thing, when we say a sustainable tourism policy, it's not just protecting your land and nature, which is also giving you a market, right? Like for example, so it was presenting the increasing forest cover of Odisha. Definitely you can link it with carbon credit. It's a huge market. If you really analyze 2015, one of the most environment sensitive European market is Germany. 2% of German travelers are cancelled their long haul trip because they are concerned to climate change, because aviation is contributing to carbon emission. So this is a market which definitely we can target through this kind of effort. So for me, community participation and sustainable tourism is not just protecting environment. Definitely, it is also a market which can also give more employment and other opportunity to the local community. And not just, if you really analyze all the market studies, recent market studies, it's very categorically says these points. So I think you have a lot of advantage here because you are just starting. So as a beginner, if you start your beginning in a rightful manner, I think you have huge opportunity. And even if you really look into domestic tourism market, I think very recently Booking.com did a survey which says that 90% of Indian travelers, they are booking through Booking.com. They are also looking for sustainable travel products. So you have amazing potential here, and definitely, certain extent compared to other states where we are working, like Andhra, of course Kerala, you are into the right track. And I would also like to answer your question. Like for example, what is happening in Kerala? Because I am from Kerala and I have been working on Kerala tourism for the last 20 years.
Madikeri or Uttarakhand,
anywhere.
the story just different rivers means but the same story.
I am giving Kerala as an example, but this is what is happening almost everywhere. If you look into the destinations, like we started developing Kovalam as the first destination, but what is happening now? And then we came to backwater destinations like Houseboat, Alapi and all. What is happening now? It's all deteriorating. I'm not saying this. If you really analyze the tourist arrival, you can see that quality tourism is going away from these places. So protecting environment
Do destinations get tired? Do destinations get tired? Is it necessary? And also Mr. Sarkar can answer that. Do destinations get tired? Is it necessary to keep rediscovering them?
Definitely. I think the innovation is also a key point. Because as far as Kerala tourism is concerned, the last innovation for me is houseboats. After that, nothing. So you need to really, if you really want to survive, not just in tourism market, anywhere, you have to really work on innovation. You have to bring innovative products all the time. And community participation definitely ensure you a beautiful diversification in your market. So for me, Orissa, I think my suggestion to Orissa is the collection of niche products. That is something you should market.
Yeah, somehow I agree with Sumesh that you have to do something new for the destinations which are oversold or it has been sold for a long time. But there are certain things that you don't need to do anything, like Taj Mahal. You don't have to do anything. Footfall will increase every day. But in Kerala houseboat, you have to refurbish that. You have to come up with a new idea. When houseboats came, there were non-air conditioned houseboats, but they changed it to air conditioned. Now they are deluxe air conditioned. Now they are also coming up with exclusive deluxe boats with air conditioning, with eating facilities. So like that, they are also innovating. Things are changing, and in Kerala nowadays, a big importance is given to the experiential tourism. That what people can experience while while visiting a Kerala village, mixing up with the families, having food with them, stay with the local family. So these are the new concepts coming up. So these are the new, that is why I said the experiential tourism is the new mantra nowadays and people are looking for. Now the segment of the travelers have changed. If you look at youngsters are traveling more. When youngsters are traveling more, they want rough and tough tours. They want to experience the ecotourism, tented camps. They want to experience something, jungle walking, mountain
Adventure
walking.
tourism. Adventure tourism.
Adventure tourism, ecotourism, those are the things. Plus, they will also like to stay in a village. They will mix up with the villagers. What are their activities? They want to see because there is a generation gap in between. They have really not seen what the villages people are doing. there is a huge number of youngsters, they are working in the urban area and they are earning good money. They want to spend and experience. So they are coming out. So these are the new look. If I remember correctly, when Odisha I was selling about 35 years before, what was the key selling point was the tribal tour. Nobody was selling. So it was a big success in Odisha. Travel tour is still there, but nobody wants to oversell it. There is a restriction for travel tourism. But earlier days, there was no restriction. We were given certificate for promoting travel tourism by Odisha then. So it was a new aspect. So similarly, nowadays things are changing. Accordingly, you have to adopt the new things depending on the your culture, depending on the music. Last time I mentioned that in Odisha there is a big need of MIO tourism product. That is a convention center for MIO tourism. This is the biggest drawback that Odisha is not having such a beautiful location they have. If we have to do our meetings under this kind of structure, then I think Odisha need a beautiful place. I think there is no constraint of space. Government can allocate space anyway, and it can be a modern convention center. It is possible to do that. Recently I was in Kolkata, and there they have come out with a beautiful convention center, Sectoral Convention Center, and beautiful 10,000 people can accommodate themselves in one convention center. And periphery, there are 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel, 3-star, automatically they come up. Similarly, these are the investment opportunities. These are the areas where MIO tourism can. When MIO tourism comes, it will be 4,000 people, 10,000 people, their families. Then there is a comeback again, because they come there for 3 days convention. Later on, they come with the family for tourism. So there is a footfall coming back and repeat business, repeat visitor coming out. So that is a very big business. Odisha can also look into river cruise tourism. You have waterways, you can do that. You have a big beach, you have water sports facilities, possibilities are there. These are the new areas, new activities where government can look into, and PPP model can be a very successful model on that. I am sure your Chief Minister and Mr. Ashok Panda, Tourism Minister, both are very, very tourism friendly. I have interacted with them, and they always ask our association to give them the food for thought, and we are continuously giving that. And today I am here also because of that only, and I am here to give all the inputs, whatever they need. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sultan. Every word in that was truth. So let me go to the 4 hotel owners that I know in the room. Starting with Dr. Kamath, I'd like to go to Mr. Mahapatra, maybe Shubneet is in the crowd, he owns a Mango Hotel in Bhubaneswar. And I saw Mr. Chadha here, I think he stepped out perhaps. Anyway, let me ask the other 3. Dr. Kamath, when you first came to Bhubaneswar 11 years ago, you said it was? You came here 11 years ago, you said? And you took a bet on Orissa when no one was prepared to do. You saw before its time what it could be. If I ask you to take a bet today, what would you do in Orissa that you would have your entrepreneur's gut? What is it telling you is the next great investment for Orissa?
I will back this government 100%. I will follow because I am getting all the cooperation, and I will just sit down with them. And I think 2016 policy is one of the best policy which they have brought in. Only thing what is happening is we cannot reach the people. So it is duty of people like us to shout. See, the government telling anything, nobody will believe. When you have a good resort, we have one Fort Jadavgarh in Pune. No publicity, only people who are in Pune are around Belt, 7 kilometers, they are working, their children are there, their 4th standard passports, Mr. Keswani said. We taught them English in Marathi, and today that hotel is doing 92% occupancy, 97% repeated client. The government is doing their job. We also have to do our job. Our job is what? Firstly, Niyam, Niyojan and Niyantran can create excellent nirmiti. You want a good Nirmiti, then it has to be, you can't clap with one hand. So that is there. Secondly, we have been telling everyone we have excellent this, but are you giving him an experience? What is tourism? A lady or a man, a gentleman walks in or a lady walks in to your place. In a given time, you give them best of the experience, and she goes in time, then she will blow your bugle 40 times more. The government giving advertisement will be seen and it will die next day. But the experience will keep on and on. That is how I have been able to get around 4,000 people from Maharashtra every year. We are bringing it, and today I am happy. I am with Sir Mahapatra. He is willing to show us that there are eco cottages, other things. Tourism doesn't mean that one Vittal Kamat should become rich. No, it should go to community, downtrodden people, their involvement. One room gives direct job to 35 people and indirect job to 72 people. So that is why tourism is very important, but we should have responsible tourism that will keep Orissa the way Orissa is. Orissa has excellent, now you said it's a soul. What is a soul? Without heart and without soul, there is no heart, which is eternally. So I think we must do that. We are on the right path. This kind of seminars will definitely get in more people, but now it is a time Odias outside should come in and invest in Odia also, Orissa, and should have pride. When I decided in 2008 to come here, everybody was laughing me. Today they say, "Arey kya risk liya?" There is no risk when you see the gap. There is independence here. Tourism in eco, tourism in IT, and tourism in sports. Sports is new thing. Having fun, you will be having 5 events next year. That means the city will be full. So we should have a responsible tourism, and I will back this government because I want to retire here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kamat. Wise words as always. It's not fair for me to call you the beast of the East. You're actually the beauty of the East. Where is Mayfair putting its money next? Can you repeat it again? Where is Mayfair going to invest? What's next 5 years? You know, Risa, where is Mayfair going to invest?
Yeah, you see, we have already taken a big patch of land in the Satpura, which is one of the, what you call, next to the sea mount.
Chilka?
Chilka. See, it's the other part of the Chilka and towards next to the pool. See, we have a plan for the one of the beautiful 5-star deluxe resort there. And we have a plan, as I told you in the last panel discussion. See, we are more keen on the MICE to gap, that is a big gap is there. And we wanted to go for a bigger convention hall, if we get the opportunity. We have already requested the government. So, see, there is 2 places where it can be, the convention center can come and it can be fulfilled their gap. One is in Bhubaneswar, another one is in Konark. These 2 places required, and it's a midway. Convention center. And that is to give it the MICE tourism. And the third one, as I told you, after seeing the ecotourism, what you call video and everything, and definitely we can go for some of the ecotourism area. We can develop the 5-star deluxe homestay. Luxury tents, luxury homestays. Not 10 exactly, but go for the beautiful bungalows. We want to talk about tents with you later. Tents are nice. We'll discuss. Thank you. Shubhrit Gugnani is the owner of our Mango Hotel in Bhubaneswar. I'm told we are signing an MIO for 5 more hotels later today. So where are these hotels going to be?
So like with all the veterans on the board, like Kamat sir said, and even Sarkar sir said, like there is a lot of requirement in the MICE tourism that we are looking forward to. Even we've given a proposal to the government for a big convention center, come a 3-star hotel in Bhubaneswar. We're looking forward to that particular proposal being gone ahead.
Convention?
Yeah, a big convention center with a particular 3-star hotel. And also for our eco-tourist resort, we've given a proposal in Konark,
and we've applied for a 5-acre patch right there where we're looking in for 10 house basis ecotourism. So we don't mind actually coming in and maybe participating with the government on a PPP model where you've already developed certain ecotourist resorts. We can go ahead and maybe participate there and take up some properties where we can maybe increase the number of tents there and take up the local people around and come up with good properties there itself. So,
thank you, Shubhi.
Thank you.
The forest department protects and makes sure the forests are growing and getting nurtured. What are you doing in the tourism business?
True, I am not from tourism sector. I am from forest department. So, in fact, we have so much to offer in this state from forest department side, from forest fringe villages, from people who are living inside the forest. They are actually protecting the entire forest and wildlife, whatever you see. So when I joined this department 3 years back, we thought to involve them and to provide some income to the stakeholders so that they in turn protect the nature for future generations. They will protect the nature, they will protect the wildlife, they will prevent poaching, they will prevent timber mafias, they will prevent sand mining and all those things. In fact, that has happened in many places and they are getting large scale income. They are the stakeholders, they are owners of those assets. Actually, we create the assets, we hand it over to them and they are virtually managing them. And 90% income is going to them. We have a website, ecotourorissa.com, through which we send the tourists to them. And as I was telling, last 2 years, 23,000 people have stayed in these nature camps. We have around 300 rooms now, more than 35 nature camps. Each nature camp is unique in its nature. We have day-long activity and I am happy that the hoteliers are also now interested to replicate and purchase land in these places so that they also give similar experience. Actually, they can do much better. From government side, we only wanted to popularize these places. And we'll give all access to the sanctuaries and all other facilities, whatever is required. Tourism department is making a land bank around such areas, so they can provide you land also. But ultimately, the ultimate aim is all the stakeholders, they will get the income. They feel that they are getting the income out of it, and money is not going outside their area. And they will in turn protect the nature, protect the biodiversity, protect the forest. That is our selfish interest of forest department.
That's some of the smartest words I've heard in a long time. A quick glance at ecotourorissa.com, and there's over 25 options of 5 to 15 to 20 tents managed by the local people, by the indigenous people, who are today, rather than spend money on preventing poaching, the forest department is in the business of tourism. Thank you very much for sitting for 2 panels today. It's been a great audience. I hope we've answered a lot of your questions. Thank you very much.
Think investment. Think Odisha.